Celtics Beat is brought to you by Prizepicks.
Welcome in, everybody. Evan Valenti solo this week on Celtics Beat here on CLNS Media. Kaufman and I, with the trick-or-treat Halloween holiday coming up a little bit, figured get this out early. I had a little more time, so I figured I'd just take this one. Adam will be back next week, but it's just more about like a scheduling thing as we get moving here. As you know, Celtics Beat comes to you once a week. Make sure you download every episode, whether it's iTunes or it's Spotify. Make sure you subscribe to Celtics Beat and all the rest of the CLNS Media Network shows that we have going on, both on Spotify and on iTunes, wherever you get your podcast. But also make sure you check out the CLNS Media YouTube channel. Subscribe to that. Make sure you get all the latest updates from literally all of the Boston sports that we cover as a group. Collectively, obviously, with the Bruins, with the Patriots, with the Red Sox, and obviously the Celtics. The Celtics All Access channel on CLNS. You'll find my show there. You're going to find a bunch of other shows there, but make sure you subscribe to that as well as, again, we're coming at you a lot now. It's the regular season. Things are in motion. Life is good. Celtics are rolling. And with that, we bring on Jack Simone. Jack, morning or afternoon? What's it, afternoon? Yeah, afternoon, brother. How are you? What's going on?
I'm good. I'm excited. The season's back. It was a fun break for a minute in the summer, and then it quickly turned into, wow, I really want to watch basketball again. So I'm glad we get to do that.
Yeah, man. It's you and me both. No question about it. I was jonesing for it like end of August, early September, and it's like, oh, thank God this is finally here. I will say football carried us a little bit to get into October here, which was brilliant. I do want to get into a lot of things. We got some stuff coming up. We got this trick or treat thing I'm going to do later in the show. We have some news to talk about with Baylor Scheierman's extension being picked up. We'll get into that, his option at least. We'll get into that briefly at the end. But before we get into the biggest win of the short season, Celtics beat the Cavs 125-105. You do this thing that I absolutely love, where you don't sit down because you do it standing with different Celtics guys, and you have them break down film with you. And you've done a couple of new guys recently. I saw the Josh Minott one very recently. Of the newer guys, part of this crew, the newer guys, which one has really stood out to you? Because you had some of the summer, and you added Minott very recently. Anybody stand out to you in these little breakdowns you do with them? It's a couple of minutes on your Twitter channel, so make sure we plug that. Is it at Jack Simone NBA? Is that the Twitter handle? Find it there. It's good stuff. It's great stuff.
Thank you.
Who have you been most impressed with?
Most impressed with, I think the most entertaining one I've done so far was Jordan Walsh, because he is just not unfiltered. That's not an unfair characterization, but like there was one play I was breaking down summer league film of his game with like a Grizzlies player, and he was basically just like, yeah, that guy messed up. Like that guy, I don't know what he was doing. Like he's just like trashing on a summer league player. Like this guy's an idiot. Like what is he doing? So like in terms of like my personal entertainment, I was like, this is hilarious. I love this. They've all been really good. Like it's just, I think it's a good way to sort of get the insight of what's going on the court. Like for as much as you and I watch basketball and love basketball, and as much as all the media can like try their best to break down exactly what's happening, to show a player play and say, hey, like, can you explain this? You're getting it from the person that did it. So I think all of them are really good. Neemias in particular, I thought was really fun to talk to. He broke down sort of like his positioning, how long to hold screens, when to roll, when to pop, his chemistry in the pick and roll. So he was really good to talk to. Baylor Scheierman broke down some of the stuff he was working on. Amari Williams, Josh Minott, everyone was good. But I think the way Neemias sort of explained to me, this is exactly where my position needs to be. This is what I was seeing. This is how I was doing it in real time. Like that one stood out in terms of like, okay, this is really good insight. But Jordan Walsh was the funniest by far.
We're always looking for a little humor, right? We do this. It's when you're on the beat, man. Like for those of you that don't understand, like it's monotonous every day. You talk to the same people every day. You ask the same question almost every single day. So I can understand that, like, somebody that breaks up a little bit be helpful, no question about that. I do want to get into this game last night though, because man, we're 5 games in, and it feels weird to say this, Jack, but this might be potentially the most impressive win of the year. Celtics 125, Cavs 105. And I'm not saying that they can't do better. It's just like that was number 1 seed from last year. You have a team that, again, they were missing Darius Gar. Like, this is one thing that cracked me up about Doris Burke last night. This is not to get too crazy with this, but Doris Burke at one point last night in the middle of the game goes, guys, don't forget they're missing Darius Garland and they're missing Max Strus. And I'm like, okay, Doris. I'm like, you know what? You can throw that out there. That's fine. Look, we all know that the C's are missing Tatum. Like we've gone over that ad nauseum, but like, come on, like they're missing Tatum, Horford, Porzingis, Holiday. Like there's so many guys are missing. You want to highlight they're missing Max Strus and Darius Garland? By all means, go for it. With the Celtics, great win, 125-105 over the Cavs. And I do want to start here because it's such a big win. Small sample size for sure. And you can Jack in a few different places in this game. Jaylen Brown paced the offense, came out 22 points in the first half. We'll get to that. Hauser and White added some balance. Pritchard double-double. We'll get to all that stuff. But I want to start with proof of concept, right? There's a great quote from Mazzulla, and I'm going to paraphrase it. Like, we won this game because we woke up like thinking about rebounding and winning the rebounding margin and out hustling and all those things. Do you believe that, we'll call it Wednesday night, because pending when you listen to this, could be Thursday, could be Friday, whatever. Wednesday night's win. Do you think that win is proof of concept that playing hard, rebounding, digging in defensively, that these things, amongst a few others, like obviously hitting shots and those things, proof of concept that this can work, that can keep this team afloat until Tatum gets back and they can really make a real run at this thing?
I do. I use that exact phrase, proof of concept, in like my game story last night. I use it in a video that I'm going to try to make today. Like, it is such an intentional decision to make that extra effort on the glass. And like is the case with every team around the league right now, it's not really fair to base things off a 3-game sample size, right? Like, it's inherently going to take this Celtics group, this new Celtics team who is not used to playing together, who has not played this style before. And a lot of these guys, as silly as it sounds, not used to having to rebound as much as they do to get used to it, right? Like, you think about last year's team, Jaylen Brown wasn't trying, making the extra effort to rebound every single time because Tatum was doing it, because Horford was doing it, because, Cornette was doing it, because like, that is just not something that he inherently thought about consciously every single second of every single play. And I'm not saying it's not a good thing, but like, when you have Tatum and Horford and Cornette, 3 guys who are phenomenal rebounding, you don't really need to quite as much, but you need to this year because Neemias Queta can get, stumbled around sometimes. He's not the best rebounder. He was great against the Cavs, but like inherently he hasn't been amazing. And you have, Payton Pritchard and Derrick White on the floor, who are both smaller guys who are not going to be the best rebounders, even though Payton Pritchard does a great job of boxing out. Like, I think it just took them a few games to realize, oh, like, we really have to consciously think about rebounding. And again, like, I just pulled a bunch of clips for a video I'm going to try to make. And the difference in just their consciousness to, I have to go find my guy and put a body on him as this ball is in the air, was night and day from the Pistons and Knicks games versus the Cleveland game. The Pelicans game was good too, but they didn't really have like great centers on the court a lot of the time. Like, Mobley and Jared Allen are one of the biggest front courts in the NBA, and you could just see the conscious decision Boston made to be like, okay, we're going to get a body, we're going to crash the glass. And the biggest thing to me was, if your guy is crashing, they're going to get a body on him. If your guy's not crashing, go get the rebound, because as much as boxing out is important to rebounding, a lot of the times the box out is so somebody else can get the rebound. And so the Celtics need to send 4 guys at the glass all times. 3 of them are boxing out, and that 4th one is going to get the rebound. But the 3 guys boxing out aren't going to get any credit. So it's just like such an intentional decision that they have to make on a night-to-night basis. And Mazzulla saying, like, we just have to wake up and decide to rebound. It sounds like simple and like painfully, obvious. It's really just the reality of the situation. And I think if they do that on a night-to-night basis, which I think they are perfectly capable of, I think once Payton Pritchard and Derrick White shot wakes up, this offense is going to be humming even more. Than it already looks pretty good because of their own, offensive rebounding activity. And I've been bullish on this defense since the start of the season. It's also top 10 right now. Noah put it out today, Noah Delzell, that they're one of 3 teams top 10 in offense and defensive rating this year. I think this defense is going to finish the year top 10. I think it's going to carry them to when Tatum comes back. I'm very bullish on what this defense can be with this new style. And if they can rebound to close these possessions like they did against Cleveland, I'm very excited to see what it looks like for a full year.
Yeah, you brought up the good point of, this is a team in Cleveland that's big. Like Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Like, first off, Mobley is a defensive player of the year candidate. So there's that. A lot of that comes with rebounding the basketball, not just defense, but also like finishing the possession, like grabbing the ball off the glass. And Jared Allen, been doing it pretty much ever since he got in the league, been a great rebounder. They play those two bigs at the same time all the time. Again, to your point, to be able to pull off what they did last night, out rebounding the Cavs on the glass, is, first off, not a small feat considering the size of that team, but also, again, gives you a little bit of life as you try and build this thing and go forward with this particular style. It's like, hey guys, right there it is. This is a team that notoriously kills teams on the glass because they have two bigs and they play them all the time. They can, they can do this thing where they play one, the other one rests, and then they can sub them out. But when they're really dangerous is when they have both of those guys on the floor. And Boston is a small group this year. I mean, I've said this a cajillion times. Like, Tatum was their best rebounder. Secret sauce to Jason Tatum is he does everything, but he's also the team's best rebounder. And without him, without Kornet, without Al Horford, without Kristaps Porzingis, you're missing your top four rebounders from last year's team. And yet you were able to do this against a team that's, first off, proven in the regular season, not the postseason, but the regular season, proven very good. And it's a team that you're going to have to compete with for the next couple of years for the top team in the East every year. So this is a huge, huge win. And I felt like, you've already mentioned one of these guys, I felt like this particular style of playing is emphasized by a few guys. And I think two of them came up huge last night. And I can make the argument for the third one, but two of them, Josh Minott and Neemias Queta, were unbelievable last night. And I should say Wednesday.
Yeah.
They were unbelievable. Minott, who continues to be everybody's favorite player to start the year because it's just been a lot of fun with him. Minott last night, what do you have? 15 boards, 14 boards, 11 points, 14 rebounds. Neemias Queta, 10 points, 13 rebounds. You're getting unbelievable effort from those two guys. And like, look, Queta's a 7-footer, so there's that. But Minott, not a taller guy. It's all effort. I feel like as I watch these two guys specifically, and I'll throw Pritchard in there because he does, in terms of energy, provide that. But I feel like these two guys, when Boston plays these two guys, whether together or separately, it just feels like there's more juice on this team. There's more energy on this team when they're playing. Am I wrong with that?
No, not at all. You're 100% correct. I mean, Josh Minott's the best rebounder on this basketball team. He needs to play a lot of minutes if they want to win games. Like, that's just kind of how it is. If you want to win, you have to play defense. If you want to play defense, you have to get stops. If you want to get stops, you have to rebound the basketball at the end of the possession. And if nobody else is going to do what Josh Minott can do, you have to have Josh Minott on the floor. Now, what does that do for your offense? People, worry about spacing, worry about this stuff. Great cutter, great offensive rebounder too. So add stuff there. He's got to play like top 6-7 minutes on this team. Like, he's going to be huge. He's going to play 30 minutes a night maybe if the Celtics want to win basketball games. Like, it can't be overstated how important Josh Minott will be. And Neemias Queta, like, I have been very critical of Neemias Queta. I've been like doubtful of if he can turn it around. I don't know, like his positioning throughout his career. Like, these last few years, I've been just like, I don't know if it's going to work out. He has been incredible to start this regular season. Like, his hustle, his rebounding, his positioning has been infinitely better. There's inevitably going to be some positions where you're like, illegal screen, or tough foul, or like he should have been here for the rebound. Like, that's going to happen. He's a young center. He's still growing. He is an imperfect product, but the hustle, the effort, the rebounding, the size, you're really seeing what he can be as a role-playing center. So having those two guys on the court for rebounding purposes is going to be almost a necessity if the Celtics want to win games.
My favorite thing about Minott is he kind of rebounds the ball like Terry Rozier. And I know everybody's favorite player now is Terry Rozier with all the stuff that he's involved with, but like there's a GIF out there, or a GIF. I don't know if I don't even care anymore if I'm saying it right. It's usually like Sam Packard that tweets it out every time when Terry Rozier would get a rebound, he'd kind of like float to get it. And there's a Simpsons meme out there that perfectly encapsulates how Terry Rozier rebounds the basketball. I feel like Minott like floats. Like, he just like effortlessly gets in the air and his limbs go on forever. He just effortlessly floats, grabs it at its like highest point and just comes down with it. It shows up to me more on the offensive side, maybe because maybe positioning and him attacking the basket from certain angles. It just allows me to see that a little bit more. But you're totally right, man. I don't know where this team would be without Josh Minott, because, and it feels so weird just because like he wasn't playing much in Minnesota and kind of took a flyer on him. And we've gone from that to, I'm texting guys, how soon can they sign Josh Minott to an extension? Like they need to sign him like now. And somebody pointed out to me, our buddy Seth was on the show like semi-frequently, pointing out that they have a team option on him next year, which is super valuable to have on a guy that's going to, as you said, play like 25, 28, 30 minutes a game for them until Tatum comes back. Like, I don't know about you. I would sign him to an extension at this very second if I could. I know his agent probably wouldn't let him do it, but like, man, how Brad Stevens found this guy to just come in and provide all this energy in a team that needs it desperately. It's like right place, right time. And then you get the great interview with him and Abby Chin after the game Wednesday night where he's like, I love it here. This place is amazing. I love the staff, training staff, the ball boy, the water. Like he's going all the way up and down the list. He goes, I absolutely love it here. This is my favorite place in the world. So it's like, how soon can they lock up Minott to an extension? Because they're going to need him going forward with this team, with this particular core of guys, no question.
Yeah, he's awesome. It's like O'Shea Brissett walked so Josh Minott could run. That's kind of like what happened here. Like it's just the same player, but Minott's bigger, better defender, better rebounder, just kind of does everything a little better, younger too. He's only like 22, 23 years old. Like he's super young. He just, everything the Celtics switched about their team this season of we're going to run around, be chaos on offense, crash the glass a lot more. Defensively, we're going to sprint around. We're going to, be chaotic there too. Like he just fits it so perfectly. And not only is he great for the rebounding and a necessity on that, in that area, he was guarding Evan Mobley the entire game yesterday. Like he is guarding the best forward on the other team, putting them in, prison with the way he's rebounding. Like he's not letting them move. Evan Mobley had an extremely inefficient night. And if I could find it here quickly, which I don't think I'll be able to, but like I would hazard a guess that Evan Mobley's matchup stats against Josh Minott were not very good. I would bet they weren't good.
I think the number is either 0-6 or 1-6. And then like I think collectively as a team, the Cavs were 1 for 12 with Minott as the primary defender last Wednesday night, which is just good stuff, man.
That's pretty good if you ask me. Yeah, okay, I have it here. Josh Minott as the defensive player. The Cleveland Cavaliers scored a few points, but they made 1 3. They were one of like a bunch from 3. And then Evan Mobley was 0 of 6 and 0 of 3 with Josh Minott on him. DeAndre Hunter was 0 of 3, 0 of 1. Jalen Tyson was 0-0, didn't even get a shot up. Like he completely clamped them down. Like it wasn't even close.
And having all this stuff like with Minott is so valuable just because again they're really up against it with this apron, and finding dart throws like this are so huge. It's as a team building vessel. There's nothing more valuable than a 22-year-old that's locking up Evan Mobley, who again was a defensive player of the year candidate. He scored like 19 points a game last year. Like he's one of the, there's a tier of young players in the league that are, you talk about the Paolo Bancheros, the Şengüns and the Amen Thompsons. Like there's a group of guys that are the next group. And then Wemby is like voice separate from this at this point. But there's a group of like the next guys that are going to be a big deal. And Mobley's on that list. Where does he fall on that list? Like it depends on your flavor. But like for Minott to come in and do that, I thought was unbelievable. And we could keep going about Minott until basically we're blue in the face. But I do want to move on to Jaylen Brown quickly. Just because Jaylen, look, he's been on a heater to start this season. I think so far 30 points a game on average. The 50 40 stuff is always going to be great. The live ball turnovers will continue to haunt my dreams forever. It's just part of the Jaylen Brown experience. But what I've really loved is some of the creation stuff that we've seen. And there was a point in the first couple of games, I don't have it up to last night just because I just want more games to happen, but before I really go crazy with it. But there was a point in the season where Jaylen was averaging 11 potential assists a game. And I'm like, man, if you had told me that 5 years ago, I thought you would be crazy. like just absolutely crazy because the creation stuff was not there, but it's starting to really come around a little bit. And like, look, they're going to have to live with the live ball turnovers, but there's at least a little bit of growth there. Are you of the belief that he's adjusting well to decently okay with being the number one option on a team this year? Because it looks like he's doing all right so far.
Yeah, I asked Joe about this after the game against Cleveland, and he kind of came back and was like, he doesn't really see it as a new role. He doesn't really see it as increased like pressure. He just sees it as I'm going to play like Jaylen Brown plays. And he said the way they're playing the season with the new offense and new defense really suits Jaylen. And honestly, you can kind of see it, right? He's not taking more shots than he did last year. Even the assist numbers aren't really up super high. I think he is just playing Jaylen Brown basketball, and everyone else is sort of filtering in with the way he wants to play. And don't get me wrong, like he's been extremely efficient. I 1000% think he's doing a great job adapting to what is inevitably going to be more pressure on him because of all the guys they lost. So give him that credit. I think he's looking for his spots and getting to his shots, the shots he wants in his shot profile really well. I think the mid range has been there. He's been getting to that a lot. I think he's getting downhill. The threes are going in this year too, which is helping a ton for Jaylen Brown. I think he's doing a great job of setting up the offense too. The assistant numbers haven't been going up a ton, but he's doing a ton of the classic, I'm going to drive, draw to, and then kick out to a perimeter player. Sometimes they either just don't make it. I mean, when Derrick White and Payton Pritchard aren't shooting as well as they aren't shooting, so you're not going to have many assists, but he's done everything I think anybody could have possibly asked from him in terms of scoring, in terms of setting up his team, his defense too, his rebounding. His rebounding against the Pistons and the Knicks was bad. He did do a good job boxing guys out. You look at him against Cleveland, he's putting a body on Jared Allen. He's, swim moving DeAndre Hunter in the paint. Like he is doing what he needs to do and also adjusting to what he is seeing as a necessity on the fly. So he's playing awesome. I think he deserves a ton of credit for the way the Celtics are trending.
Yeah, and you have to, and if you're Jaylen Brown and you're the leader of this team, without question, without Tatum on he's nearby, but he's not on the floor. Without Tatum on the floor, like you are the unquestioned leader of this team. And if someone is going to try and drag this team through these new wrinkles on offense and defense, like he has to be the face of it. And there's been some quotes coming out about Jaylen Brown's leadership and how, like, yeah, he might not be the most raw. Like both him and Tatum aren't the most rah guys. I think Brown does a better job of being a little bit more of a vocal leader, at least from what we can tell in our little snippets that we get. But like he's going to have to be the guy, the face of this thing. And again, so far so good. Like you mentioned the rebounding stuff. Like if you want the whole team to rebound, Jaylen, you have to put a better effort forward. And again, you're the guy that dives into the tape more than most people. Seems to be happening a little bit more frequently in the last with the again Pelicans. They're just a disaster, so maybe don't hold that game in super high regard. But like especially against the Cavs, like that's good stuff. You're seeing more of that, and that's something you're going to be tracking from here on out.
The rebounding in particular, you mean?
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, no, I mean, if the Celtics don't rebound the way they did against Cleveland, they're not going to win games. It's like that simple. I truly believe if they rebound the way they did, they'll have a really good chance to win. If they don't, they're going to lose. Like you cannot win basketball games when you rebound as poorly as they did against the Pistons and the Knicks. And there will inevitably be exceptions. They'll win the rebounding battle by 1,000,000 one night, but they'll lose because of something else. And they'll get killed on the glass one night, and they'll get lucky because they're red hot shooting. Like there's going to be those outliers. But for the bulk of games, if they don't rebound the ball like they did against Cleveland, they're going to lose. And I believe they can do what they did against Cleveland because I think this is a group of guys who knows how to win, who wants to win, and a head coach who is probably as whatever word you want to use for Joe Mazzulla, he does not like to lose basketball games, right? Like he is going to go out there and he's going to do everything he can to make his team do what they need to do to win. And so I think now that they've seen sort of the outline of what a successful win can be in terms of rebounding, I don't think we're going to see a lot of games where they slip up again, and they will happen, right? It's an 82-game season. They're going to mess up on the glass. But I think by and large, now that we've seen that work at, like you said, the proof of concept, you're going to see Joe Mazzulla really be like, if you guys don't do this, you're not going to play.
And they're going to lose, which nobody likes doing. Quick break from our friends over at Prizepicks. Prizepicks is the best way to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prizepicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to everybody. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prizepicks. I am back with another Flex Play Friday. This show comes out Thursday. We're listening to Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Doesn't matter. Still holds true for the NFL here coming up in week 9. Now, yes, first and foremost, before we get to that, NBA stuff's coming. I will be doing a lot more prize picks with the NBA. I just want a little more data first before I start jumping into that, because there are plays that we played last year that were extremely lucrative. Anytime Zubac was under or less than 12 and a half rebounds, I just kept banging the more than. I kept banging more than. He was unbelievable. Sabonis is the same way. I need a little more data before I hop into the NBA and prize picks, but we're getting there. Trust me, there's a whole big season ahead of all of us for that. But anyway, for your Flex Play Friday, Kamani Vidal, more than 76 and a half rushing yards for the Chargers. Look, now that they have Joe Alt back at left tackle, I love the way the Chargers are running the football. Harbaugh is a big guy running the football. I'm in on that. We're going to stick with the Chargers for our second leg of the Flex Play Friday. Oronde Gadsden, more than 45 and a half receiving yards. I will be honest, it's a little biased here. I am a Syracuse alum. So is Oronde. I'm a big-time fan. He's gotten better and better and better as the weeks have gone on. Again, 45 and a half receiving yards is a small number. Then we're going to Drake May, the MVP of the league right now. Drake May, more than 229 and a half passing yards against the Falcons. Look, Drake is on the doorstep of destiny, as Kevin Wildes has been saying on FS1 for weeks. I think it's hysterical. We're going to keep it rolling here. Flex play, if we hit all three, 3X, 1X. I've hit 2 out of 3, which means we got our money back. Last week was not great. We're getting back on the wagon this week, and getting your money from Prize Picks could not be any easier. In as little as 15 minutes, watch the money roll into your account. Prize Picks uses Venmo, debit card, bank account. Don't matter. You get it in no time flat. There's literally nothing easier than that. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5. Again, download the Prize Picks app, code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, welcome back. Evan Valenti, Jack Simone here with us on Celtics Beat. A little earlier than we normally do, but with the holiday coming up, with Halloween coming up, figured get at you, especially after the Celtics take down the Cavs 125-105. That's a big part of this whole thing. We're with Jack Simone, and I threw this at Jack yesterday. I was like, hey, buddy, be ready for this little segment that I'd like to throw at you. It's a little bit of a knockoff of a segment on the Ringer Fantasy Football Show, which I listen to quite a bit. I love those guys. They do this segment, and this is going to sound super childish, and if you don't listen to that show, you probably think, Evan, you're an idiot. Well, you probably already think that anyway. That they do this segment called Fart or Shart, which is basically like, is this particular stat that we have in fantasy, is this like a blip on the radar, or is this a long-term problem, or is it a long-term thing? And with that in mind, we're going to kind of make it a Halloween version of it, what I call like trick or treat. Is this something that, with small sample size, is giving us a little small sample size theater? It's not really what's really happening. Or is this something that Boston can sustain long term? That's kind of the idea of the segment. I told Jack to get ready for this. So I'm going to throw him some things. We're going to go back and forth on it. But I do want to start, because he sort of talked about this already. The Celtics offense so far in 5 games. Again, it's only 5 games. But so far in 5 games, their offensive rating is 118.7, which is good for 10th in the NBA at this moment. So I throw to you, Jack. Does Boston have the ability to be a top 10 offense throughout the 82 games? Is this actually going to happen, or is this little false hope here with the small game sample size?
I'll go treat. I think it is possible for the Celtics to be a top 10 offense. In its current state, no. Once Derrick White and Payton Pritchard stop shooting like they forgot how to shoot, yes. So I do think the way they offensive rebound, the way they crash the glass, the way they are playing, they can get there, but they're going to need Derrick White and Payton Pritchard to improve their efficiency to sustain it. But I do believe that things will come around. I think water will find its level with those two.
Yeah, I think it's really about 3-point shooting, and again, the shooting of those two guys in general. But those two guys, 3-point shooting has been a little bit of a problem so far. You have three guys for Boston, all shooting over 40% from three between Simons, Brown, and Hauser. I don't expect Brown to be over 40. Like, I look, if Jaylen Brown shoots over 40% from three, I'm going to have like just an absolute. I will be thrilled at the end of the season if he shoots over 40%. I don't think it's going to happen. We'll see with Simons. I think it's possible that Anthony Simons shoots over 40%. I don't think so based on the attempts, the volume of the attempts. I have him probably around 38, 39%, if I had to call it. But Hauser is a walking 42%. As soon as he got in the NBA, 42% for three, it's been outrageous. Where you're going to have, as you said, water find its level with hopefully with Pritchard and with Derrick White. We'll see how that goes. And again, that if those things kind of balance out, I could see them hanging around. And I think part of their offensive efficiency and offensive rating will be dictated by something coming up in a little bit. We'll hold on to that. But you and I are both, I'm a little more trick on that. I think for Boston to have a top 10 offense all season will be tough. I think they could be close, but I'm not quite as treat as you are. I think on this one, I think it's going to take some time. In the inverse of that, Boston's defense this year so far, defensive rating 111.4. That's good for 7th in the NBA. So, Jack, does Boston really have a top 10 defense here, or is this more of a trick?
I've been very high on their defense all season, all training camp. I think, like you said, with the offense, like maybe it slips down to like 11, 12, 13. Like, I think they'll have a good offense, but I think it could slip. I think the defense is going to be top 10, maybe even top 5 this season. Like, I think they're going to be really, really good. I genuinely think they're going to have a really good defense with the style, with the way Joe Mazzulla is coaching them, with if they can rebound the basketball. I mean, that's the big catalyst. If they can continue to rebound like the Cavs game, I mean, you look at the way they've played outside of the first quarter against the Cavs when Donovan Mitchell went 5 for 5 or 5 for 6 and they literally couldn't miss a shot. They held them to 18, 20, and like 23 or something like that. In the Knicks game, outside of that 40-point quarter, again, there's slip-ups and they need to contain those. But like, it's not like the Knicks scored 140 to beat them. They didn't score a lot either, right? The only really big blow-up game was the first game of the season, and that was VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey. And since then, the Celtics have been like really good defensive team. If they can control the glass like they failed to do against the Pistons, who then were able to put up a bunch of points, they're going to be great. Teams are shooting 40% against the Celtics this season. They just need to rebound. That's the best in the league by a 3% margin or something. I'm very high on the Celtics defense if they can continue to rebound. So I think they're going to have a top 10 defense for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to align with you on this one. I think this is very, very, very real. Considering the personnel they have, considering again what they're doing defensively from schematic thing. But the one thing that really jumps out is their turnover. Their turnover rate is what has gone from bottom of the barrel because they just didn't force turnovers last couple of years, especially last year. They were just not good at it. I don't know. To be frankly, honestly, I don't think they really even tried that much. I think outside of like Drew Holiday doing the freelance thing as a free safety, like I don't think they really tried. I think they're trying more this year. They're obviously applying more pressure that way. The ball handlers they're I love this revolution of everybody's guarding everybody full court. I think it's wonderful. But they've gone from like 30th in turnover rate to like 15th, which is average, but also is way better than what they were doing. So in that regard alone, if they can combine the rebounding with this turnover rate and this pressure that they're forcing, like I think it's pretty realistic they can hang around this. I don't know if top 5. I don't know if I'm going to go there, but like as an example, like I don't believe the Orlando Magic are going to be this bad at defense throughout the entire season. I can't believe what I'm watching out of Orlando. I don't know what's going on there. I have no clue. But I believe in the personnel that they'll be better at defense by the time this thing gets going. But I do think Boston can hang around top, as long as everybody stays healthy. I think they can hang around top 10 without question, considering the schematic changes they've made. And you've diagrammed a lot of this so far. You know, I've done a great job of kind of like, here's why I love this defense. And again, both of you after every game are like, I'm believing more and more and more and more in this defensive scheme and what they've been doing. Here's another one, unless you have anything else for me on the defensive part, because I have another advanced stat I want to throw at you.
Please, yeah.
All right, next one is going to be the Celtics pace right now 96.2 possessions per game, 20th in the league. Not great. And I've tracked this specifically because the idea coming into the season was, we're going to play faster. We're going to play faster. We're going to play faster. Well, guess what? They haven't. Mainly because they can't get stops and they can't generate more possessions because they're just letting up too many offensive rebounds. But in the same time, like, to be 28th, not good so far. Do you think that they're going to be towards the bottom half of the league in pace this year, or do you think this will change as we keep going here?
I'm a little confused by this. It does feel like at times they're not doing a great job of running in transition as much as they want to. I think a big part of it is the rebounding. Like, is everything comes full circle. Like, it's hard to go run if you're not getting the rebounds so you can go run. I think it ticks up. Like, I don't think they'll finish like bottom 5 in pace. I don't know if it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, I just don't think inherently Derrick White, Jaylen Brown, and Payton Pritchard are like that. I think they like to play a bit more methodical, as much as Jaylen and Pritchard, as much as those three specifically. Like, I love to run. They're not as used to it. Like, it's a very stark difference to go from playing in the Tatum style of methodical offense to what they quote unquote want to do. So I don't think they'll be like bottom 5 in pace. I think it will like trend upwards as the season goes on, but I don't think they'll be like a top 10 pace team.
It's funny. Because I assumed they would be, considering all the stuff that we heard about.
I did too.
I was like, I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker, but we just haven't seen it. But again, the caveat is that the rebounding stuff had skewed this a little bit, especially the first couple of games. They're just getting their ass kicked on the glass. I mean, it was just embarrassing how bad it was on the glass. And I was like, man, if they do this all year, I'm going to be a very depressed person by the time we get to the end of this thing, because I can't do this for 82 games. I'll have to find some other guys to watch. But it's been the change last 2 games, obviously noting wins, has been a lot of fun. All right, we're going to move on to now, because I think schematically, again, with 5 games, it's hard to have a huge sample size of like definitive top 10 offense. Like, it's hard to do that. But I do want to get to some guys. I want to start with Neemias Queta, because he's been an absolute joy. I just can't believe what I'm watching. Outside of some of the dumb fouls, which I forgive him for because he's playing more minutes than ever before, I've been very high on the experience. So the idea of Neemias Queta, is he a starting center on a playoff caliber team? Is that more of a trick or more of a treat, you think?
I don't know. I think
I
on a
want
playoff
I want you to know what I said. I said playoff team, not NBA champion, NBA finals contending team.
Playoff team, yes, because I do think this Celtics team is a playoff team. I don't know if he can be that on a contending team, because I think once you get into the weeds of, you're playing Giannis, you're playing Jokic, you're playing Wemby, you get into a tough spot. But playoff caliber team, I believe he can be, because I do think the Celtics group is a playoff team.
He's sort of on this Luke Cornett trajectory of, and I think a lot of people have pointed to this, of guy that comes in, fills in, but when you see him on the floor, it's like, oh man. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see how the Cornett minutes go today. We'll see how the Queta last year. Man, we'll see how these Queta minutes go. Now I watch him and I'm like, man, I don't know where they'd be if he didn't make this leap. Obviously, he did a lot of great things when he was with Portugal this summer. And I take all those international games with a grain of salt, because sometimes they don't translate. But it seems like this stuff is translated right into this year, and he's just a way better player. Again, he's going to make mistakes, but I can't believe the production they're getting out of him. We'll move on to Josh Minott. Josh Minott, starting 4 for the Celtics until Tatum comes back. What do you think?
For sure, 100%. Like, maybe there's some games where Hugo gets the start because they need to guard like a Cade or a Brunson. Josh Minott needs to be on the floor if they want to win games. He absolutely has to be the starter, or at least play 30 minutes a night. He is essential to their rebounding. He has to play heavy minutes every night.
Yeah, when Tatum comes back, him and Tatum on the floor at the same time is going to be really, really, really fun for everybody to watch, because all the limbs are going to be on everywhere. And you're going to have 2 guys that are 6'8" and 6'10" that just get every rebound. And I honestly am thrilled for that. But, like, again, the Minott stuff, again, you look at the Cleveland game and the New Orleans game, mean, you want to talk about putting tape out there. I mean, he put some of the best tape anybody's put out there for the Celtics so far this year. And again, in his plus minus for both those games was outrageous. Good things happen on the floor. I'm thrilled that he's part of this thing. I'll move on to Hugo though, because I've been disappointed that he has played. I thought he earned, especially against Brunson, I thought he earned a spot in this rotation. I thought he cleared Scheierman. I thought he cleared Walsh very quickly with his activity, his defensive pressure. Yeah, he's going to make mistakes. Obviously, the jump shot isn't ideal at this moment, but he just seems to give a shit all the time, which I really love.
Yeah.
But hasn't played a ton lately. But I don't think that really matters at this point. They're still kind of tinkering with stuff. Like they're trying to figure it out. They have their like core 6 guys that have played in every game, and then they're still trying to figure out the end of the bench rotation. But I'm of the mindset that Hugo has earned this over a lot of different guys and has played himself into the rotation, despite the fact that he didn't get a DMP against the Cavs, but he basically kind of did, as they brought him out when they waved the white flag. But do you believe that Hugo, 19-year-old rookie, has earned a spot in this rotation when things finally settle down?
I would like to see more of him. I do worry that I don't think he's not going to be in the rotation. I think Minott being like a 30-minute guy, like I said, maybe hurts his case just a little bit, even though they play different positions, because I do think they have a lot of guards they want to play. White, Pritchard, Simons. The Scheierman minutes are a little weird, although to give Scheierman some credit, he is a great rebounder. He crashes harder than a lot of people, so I'll give him that. I would like to see Hugo more. I think he's earned it, like you said, but I don't know if he has to be on the floor, like he has to be, is necessarily where I'm at, just because like I do think for as good as he looked in that one Knicks game, I don't think he is like, how dare you put these other guys on the floor when Hugo is right there. And I do think there's also a line to it where it's like, he's a rookie and Joe Mazzulla's Joe Mazzulla, so we'll kind of see how that plays out.
I loved his defense on Brunson. I thought he was just awesome. I thought out of all the guys on the team, I thought he guarded Brunson the best. And so when guard of one of the top 15 players in the league, and again, I think he's closer to 10 than he is to 15, but just because everybody has different lists, 15, I think you earn a little more time. I'm just a little surprised that he hasn't gotten much time after that. Jaylen Brown currently averaging right on the dot 30 points per game. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Is Jaylen a 30-point per game guy this whole season, or is this more of like a small sample size theater here?
I think this is a little more small sample size theater. Now, I don't think he's going to go back down to like 22. I think he'll probably be around like 25 to 28 range, but I don't know if he's going to put up 30 all year. Like, I think once Derrick White, Payton Pritchard start to like heat up again, you'll see Jaylen not having to do as much. And I do think the Celtics are a little bit lucky that Jaylen Brown is as efficient as he is, as Derrick White and Payton Pritchard are struggling, because I don't think he's going to shoot 60% and 50% all season either. So I would say more of a trick from the trick or treat side of things on the 30 points per game. But I do think he's going to have a good year.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Look, for if you average 30 a game, but 30 a game is tough. Not many guys do that. And you're talking about the Giannis's, the SGAs, the Jokic's. Like those are the guys that average 30 a game. It's not really a Jaylen Brown thing. But hey, look, I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. Can Derrick White right now is averaging 11.2 threes attempted per game, which is just an outrageous number for me. Although I've enjoyed it. It's not like I haven't enjoyed it. Can he hover around 10? Do you think he can average 10 3-point attempts per game?
I do. I do think Derrick White is going to take 10 threes a game. The question for me is he going to shoot 35% or 38 and 40%? Don't know what that's going to look like, but I do think he is going to get them up there. I don't think that's fake.
Yeah, he hasn't been bashful about it either. He's doing a lot of these like step backs where he's like, just doing this thing, and then all of a sudden tries to take a step back. And I kind of like that shot, but I don't love it all the time. So I'm still trying to work it out. But he does look, man. I've been of the mindset more Derrick White is good for business. So I'm always going to support Derrick White in that regard. But 11.2 a game is just hysterical. My last one here. Well, I have two more. Payton Pritchard. I want to get to him. He had 10 points, 10 assists in that Cleveland game. They get the shots not falling, but I've been pretty impressed with a lot of the stuff that he's been doing. I love that he just attacks the paint and moves guys with his shoulders, his elbows, his hips, and finds like interesting ways to get through guys and get the shot up, or find interesting ways to get guys the ball with interesting and fun like whip passes. He's been awesome. Is Payton Pritchard a lead ball handler on a playoff team?
Yeah, I think so. Not number one, but number two. Like I said this on How About Them Celtics last night. Like Derrick White hasn't looked, in my opinion, super comfortable as the secondary option when he's had to be, or the first option going against defensive pressure. Payton Pritchard has. I don't care that the shots haven't gone in. He has looked infinitely more comfortable handling the ball within the flow of an offense against high leverage, high pressure situations than Derrick White has. And that's not a knock on Derrick White. It's just I think Pritchard's a little bit more comfortable in that spot. And I think Jaylen Brown's your number one ball handler, offensive initiator, and I think Payton Pritchard needs to be number two. I've been really impressed. Again, like I said, the threes need to come, but 10 assists last night, I think it was, against Cleveland. He has been a phenomenal offensive creator for the Celtics team.
This is the one thing like a lot of people forget when you go back and watch Pritchard's, I'll say, his Oregon stuff, his college stuff. He was a way bigger distributor then, and you looked at some of the highlights and like, wow, this guy's got a real great feel for the game and where his teammates are, getting the ball in the right spots. So this particular form of Pritchard I've been very impressed with. And the last one is, it seems like Boucher has carved out a big role over Tillman. Do you believe that will hold throughout the entire season?
No. Boucher hasn't been playing a lot. Tillman hasn't been playing a lot. If I had to guess who's going to get more consistent minutes, I think Tillman's looked more impactful. I think Boucher has had some cool block nights, and I think the energy is great, but not a great rebounder. He's not a great screener. He's kind of like a smaller body. I think Tillman's a better rebounder, better screener, and I think in this Celtics offense, that's kind of what they need more. So I'd honestly rather see more Tillman than Boucher, but I think there's a place for both. But if you ask me to say only one gets minutes for the rest of the year, I would go with Tillman because the Celtics already don't have a lot of size, and Tillman's not the tallest, but he's got size. He's a big boy, and he will throw that body around. He will get boards, and he'll set screens. And I think that's more important for what the rest of the roster looks like.
Yeah, I sometimes find myself wanting Boucher to play more just because of that energy. I know he can stretch the floor a little bit better than most of the bigs that they have, and I'll throw Minott in there too because Minott's 3-point shot is a little wonky. But and sometimes I do wish they go a little bit smaller and play him at the 5 and just see kind of what that looks like. Again, it's only 5 games in, so we have a long way to go here. But there are some moments in some games that I've been like, I wish they'd give Boucher a little more of a look here, but look, it's 5 games and they're still trying to figure out where everybody's most comfortable. So I'm not going to sit here and really pound the table for more minutes for Boucher. I'm going to be honest about that. I do want to move on before we get out of here very quickly. This news broke today. The Celtics are picking up the option for Baylor Scheierman, his 30-year option. I'm not surprised because I think that's just like, let's have the asset, let's have control of that just in case. But it's been a little rocky for Baylor. I think he's been passing the rotation by Hugo, again, basically just with the defense by itself and the energy that he brings. Scheierman was kind of everybody's favorite line was, oh, when they trade Hauser, they'll just have Scheierman fill in for him right away. It's like, well, that hasn't happened at all whatsoever. And I'm not going to call him a bust because what was he, literally the last pick in the first round 2 years ago. So I'm not going to call him a bust. At this point, it's a little tough just because, it's basically a dart throw. It's the same thing as an Hugo Gonzalez or, a Amari Williams or whatever. Like it's not like you're picking a guy in the top 10 here. But were you surprised when you saw the news today or the news on Thursday that the Celtics did exercise that option?
I wasn't surprised. I think he's got a long way to go. I don't know if he's a future part of the Celtics team, but at the very least, you have a tradable contract. You have a guy who's probably cheaper than a vet minimum. And if the Celtics are in save money mode, that's probably pretty important. and it's just very rare you see teams give up on guys after the first 2 years of a rookie contract. So I think you give them another year, maybe even another year after that, see what happens. But the second year of the rookie scale 2 and 2 is always more expensive, and the first year is more, around the same price as the first 2 years, or a little bit of a jump. So I think the Celtics were always going to pick up this option.
Totally agree. It made the most sense. It's just, you'd like to see him with a little more playing time, a little more consistency from 3-point range, because we all believe it's there because we've seen it a little bit, but it hasn't totally come full circle yet. Just really quick here, coming up, Celtics schedule. It's possible they get in 4 games before the next time we record. They got a lot of games coming up. Friday night in Philadelphia, that rematch. Can't wait to say VJ Edgecombe again. I cannot wait for that. That guy was amazing the opening night. I'm not going to lie. Then they have the Rockets on Saturday, Jazz on Monday, Wizards on Wednesday, Magic Friday, and Magic Sunday. There's a lot of games coming up, not a lot of time. So just be aware that scheduling-wise, we're going to pop up Adam and I again. I'm just not positive exactly when, considering there's basically a game every other day from now until next Sunday. So there's going to be a lot to talk about, a lot to be excited about with this team. More Josh Minott coming up for all of us throughout the rest of the week. I can't wait for that. I'm always jazzed to see more Josh Minott. I wonder, with the schedule coming up, Jack, if because of the Maxey and Edgecombe gave Boston such a huge headache that first game, I wonder if they'll play Hugo more to try and contain those two guys, because those two guys killed Boston's backcourt opening night. I mean, it was embarrassing.
Yeah, definitely. I think you'll see more Hugo in that game specifically. I think you put him on Maxey and you'd say go chase him around for 40 minutes.
Yeah, go tire him out, because Hugo just looks like the Energizer Bunny out there. Jack, plug everything that you do, because you do a ton of stuff.
I do. All my written work, I do a game story after every game, and I'll weave in some fun features and stuff. HardwoodHoudini.com. You can find my work there. I'll tweet it out as well. My Twitter's Jack Simone NBA. I post my film sessions that Evan was talking about. I do other videos of me breaking stuff down. Those are also on my other socials, Jack Simone NBA on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, if you want to see them there. And then How About Them Celtics podcast that I host with Sam LaFrance. So it's everywhere I'm at.
He's all over the place, folks. For Adam Kaufman, for myself, for CLNS Media, for Prizepicks, I want to thank you all for joining in. Again, remember, subscribe to CLNS YouTube page, Celtics All Access on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to all the Jack stuff. Subscribe to Celtics Beat on Spotify and iTunes, all those things. Prizepicks, CLNS, $5 lineup gives you $50 bonus. Okay, again, when you play $5 lineup, you get $50 instantly. It's the best. And I play Prizepicks every week. It's a lot of fun. Kaufman and I have a blast with it. I'm the flex play king. They don't have that given out yet, but I have dubbed myself the flex play king. And Jack, before we go, just a little advice. Mazzulla said it himself. You got to wake up wanting to rebound the basketball. That's the right way to handle their rebounding issues. So with that in mind, you guys just got to wake up next time you guys have a game against the coaches. Just wake up thinking we're going to kick their ass. And there it is right there. That's all you need. You get it right from the coach himself. That's Mazzulla calling me right now to tell me that. That's all. I mean, you just got to wake up thinking.
We just got to try harder. We just got to try a little bit harder next time. Maybe we'll score 8 points instead of 4.
What was the Denver staff take on the Denver media, and that was even worse?
Yeah, well, we lost 57-4 in like a 12-point game, or a 12-minute game, excuse me. I think they played like a more full game, but they lost by like 100. So I felt a little bit better about myself.
Yeah, I would too. No question about it. And for I know this story like won't die, but it's actually it's got more legs. Like, you got people in football talking about it now. They want to do football beat writers versus assistant coaches. I couldn't imagine trying to play football against Mike Vrabel. I think that would kill me. What's harder, playing football against Mike Vrabel or basketball against Joe Mazzulla? I don't know. That might be.
I think a lot of injuries would come with both.
Oh. Absolutely. For Jack Simone, I'm Evan Valenti. You guys have a safe and fun holiday weekend with Halloween. We'll see you next week right here on CLNS Media.